If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Network. So thank you to John and the folks over the 405. You're listening to us for the first time. Thank you and welcome to the show. Lots to talk about tonight. Colorado. Right. The deputy director of the CIA stepped down. We'll talk about that a little bit.
That's weird. Jay Carney. We always have to talk about.
Yeah. Well,
Carney.
I mean that's
Seriously.
just fodder.
Right. Dare Joe Biden.
There's always time for a Dare Joe Biden.
There's always time for.
And if you want to add your Dare Joe Biden, go to SatCutsRadio.com, click on the Dare Joe Biden, and add your own and read some great ones.
You know what? I'm just going to go with this one right now.
Okay.
Okay. So off to the right posted this, and he says, I dare Joe Biden to ride a unicycle in the middle of a Jay Carney press conference and say to Jay, quote, riding unicycles are the only thing Jay's mom taught me. End quote, and proceeded to call Jay's son repeatedly.
I think that would be... Hey, son.
This is the only thing your mom taught me. I could picture Biden on a unicycle, but I picture him with, like, a beer in his hand while he's doing it, right?
But not like a real beer, more like a Schlitz. You know, like something, a Labatt's. What's out of, there's a good one out of Pennsylvania. It's not Knickerbocker. They have another one that's made specifically in Pennsylvania. I can't remember, but I think that would be absolutely perfect. And if he could be juggling something, and I don't care what it is.
What do you mean juggling something? He's got to juggle Obama and all the lies the administration is throwing out and all the scores. I mean, they're juggling constantly.
Can you imagine his cheat sheet? He must go into speeches or anything that he has to speak. His hands must just be covered. It's almost like, do you ever see Spies Like Us with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd?
Of course.
And just all the cheating that they do to get through that test to the GLG 20s or whatever it was. Yeah. That's what I picture Joe when he has to go. He's like, oh, where are we on this lie? Oh, okay. Carney said that this week? What a fuck idiot. All right, well, I'll go with it because I get nothing better. Oh, man. Phone number tonight, as it is every night, 347-205-9399. Hey, really quick, guys, want to talk about that young gal who needed a lung, she had cystic fibrosis, I believe, and needed a lung transplant, and then the government, essentially a government rule forbade it to happen because she was too young. They filed an injunction. They were able to get the lung. Well, she successfully had her double lung transfer today, transplant rather, and she's recovering from what we're being told anyhow, so that's wonderful news. It's nice to actually say something good occasionally about the world, and because it doesn't happen all that much lately, it seems, unfortunately. Let's see.
So, look, and I wanted to touch on something, and you and I kind of talked about it a little bit. You know, the rules, the government rules said that this child was too young to have a life-saving surgery.
Yeah.
And let's delve into this. Let's think about this for just a second. Why would that rule exist, right? What is the logic? and again, before we get the hate email, which I love, by the way, we need to start reading some of that online.
No, because
Well,
the vulgarity is usually too much.
Yeah. Listen, I got called a racist for using the old term, call a spade a spade. I mean, how ridiculous have we become? I digress. So, but let's think about some of the logic here, right?
It's a shovel, folks.
Why is that rule in place? And that rule is in place because lungs they're a precious commodity, correct?
I would
there
think
there
so.
there are only a certain number, and they have to prioritize somehow in the regulated list or whatever which patients are going to get that particular commodity, for lack of a better term.
No,
right?
Absolutely.
So if you have something that is finite, if you have only a very limited number of it,
finite.
You like that?
Wow.
I pretty much nailed it. If
Somebody's got themselves a word of the day calendar.
If you have something that is controlled, there's not an infinite supply of, right? You have rules to govern and prioritize patients, right, with lives. Not a death panel,
right,
per se, but just a priority of
this person will probably do better with the transplant.
Based upon whatever. Based upon this person would do better with the transplant, based upon economic. What they could contribute economically, I don't know. But however that's set. Now let's look at Obamacare.
Okay.
Healthcare is there is only a certain amount of care, certain amount of medication available, certain amount of tests that you can conduct, certain amount of doctors to go around. And so if this is kind of just a micro case, put this on an Obama scale, an Obamacare scale, so now you're talking a national scale.
And then it gets sent over to the IRS.
Right.
And then
listen, they're fine. Hey, stop. You're
what if our parents are
here.
conservatives or Tea Party members?
So you think that if the government has a regulation for organs and organ donations and who can receive that.
As in the state of Oregon?
That there's not going to be some sort of control or prioritization of healthcare as a whole?
Listen, it's going to be fine.
I mean, look, this was discussed during the Obamacare debate. Oh no, that's crazy. There's no way that's ever going to happen because this is America, right? Well, an 8-year-old girl almost didn't get lungs because she was too young. So
too young and had too much life ahead of her.
Right, and if that happens here and a family had to sue, what are we going to have to sue for to get care when we're outside of those ages, either too young or too old?
Well, and then it starts to bring it really begs the question, what are we going to be able to be allowed to sue for? In other words, if you have to fight.
Weight loss. It needs to be fast and sustainable. Noom GLP-1 starts at just $149 and ships to your door in 7 days. Take it from Marcos, who's loving his journey with Noom GLP-1.
I'm getting to where I want to be. I'm in such a good place right now, and I'm very confident that I'm going to be able to continue this weight loss, this journey, and really make a true lifestyle change.
Don't believe it? Take it from Cam, who's gaining more confidence with Noom GLP-1.
I really am starting to feel better. Like, I feel a lot lighter. I feel a lot happier. I feel a lot more confident. I just feel a lot more like myself. I don't feel so bogged down every day.
$149 GLP-1s? Now that's Noom Smart. Noom, the smart way to lose weight. Get started with Noom GLP-1 at Noom.com. That's Noom.com. Real Noom users compensated to provide their story. Individual results may vary. Not all customers will medically qualify for prescription medications. Compounded medications are not reviewed by the FDA for safety, efficacy, or quality.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC now recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Suit, is there going to be some grand, over-the-top blanket rule of, oh, well, this is the way it works, and unfortunately, the government has some sort of protection against a lawsuit in this respect?
No, I just checked over to the board, and I see that Rooster said something like he's hearing nothing. But I think that problem's fixed, so he probably turned his hearing aid on. So welcome back, Rooster. Glad to see you in the chat room.
Hopefully he's recovering well. By the way,
yes, sir.
Are you enjoying your drink out of your conservative outcry mug?
I tell you, this is the best mug ever. And I think you need to tell people where to go to get this. But this is just the coolest symbol. And I love, you just got this for me, so thank you very much. We just ordered these. And it's an angry guy. He looks like I don't want to like be offensive.
Leprechaun?
But he looks white to me. So I hope I don't offend any white people out there. With an American flag in the background and a pistol. So obviously he's evil, capitalist, white guy.
Yeah.
And this is just, and it's actually good size. I mean, this will hold.
No, it's a deep
It's not
mug.
like it's a very deep mug.
I've already tested out. If you have a Keurig style machine, a pod machine, and you do the extra large, it'll hold the whole cup. As long as you take it black.
No, the machine holds the cup, which is why it goes under there. So yeah, it does hold the whole cup.
I've been doing it backwards.
It's not like you have to cut the cup in half.
But you can go to conservativeoutcry.net and you can get a link to Rooster's store and buy yourself some cups. And it's well made. So they came out excellent. And we're glad to be able to drink our beverage out of them. Coffee for you, schnapps for me. I had the funniest conversation. A friend of mine was asking us about the show, and hey, how's it been going? He says, well, how many listeners do you have? And I said, 4. Well, I don't know. Do we include the NSA now?
I think we have to.
That's a couple hundred people in the room right there, isn't it?
14 guys.
So, Sacco, welcome to the show.
I gotta take the mic for a second. So, on the way here, there was a dog in the street. Running around in circles. It's like, dude, if I leave this dog, he's totally
Did you
dead.
save a dog on your way?
No, I totally did not save that dog.
That's Sacco, ladies and gentlemen.
I tried. He ran away. He's a chihuahua.
Well, you know what? That's the type of people we are on this show. Go out of our way to try. And then when it gets too hard, we just give the hell up on it. You know what I mean? When it gets too difficult, we're like, peace out.
Yeah, and listen, NSA, IRS, when it gets too hard to save our nation, we're just going to...
We're bouncing.
Yeah, no, we're not. Just kidding. We're in it for the long haul.
We're going to go find an island and call it Sackhead Nation. So,
buy a surplus aircraft carrier. Come get us. We're sovereign. I'm King Clint. That's King Sean.
Nice to meet you.
This is Vassal Sacco.
But yeah, no, so I just laughed, and I was like, well, you figure between the Fed, the NSA, that's a couple hundred extra right there. So whatever it is, add a couple.
Joe Biden.
You
know he's checking our page, right? What do they want me to do? I can do that. Hang on. Anybody got a unicycle?
So that just made me laugh because now you never know who's going to listen.
Oh, no, we knew who was listening.
We knew who was listening.
Yeah, is the IRS listening? We'll know when we get the letter.
Yeah, trust me. I'm sure when my letter comes out, I'll be 100% on whether or not they were listening or not. So, Colorado.
Look, I found this story and I was actually very interested in it. So there are several counties in northern Colorado that want to. I don't know if secede from the state is actually a proper term, but they want to separate from Colorado, the state of Colorado, and form another state, the state of North Colorado or Northern Colorado. And a big push behind this is the gun legislation, the anti-gun legislation that was passed in Colorado recently. And in addition to that, there are several new agricultural bills and energy bills that have been signed into law in that state that are adversely impacting those counties. So the states want to pull back, or the counties want to pull back and form a new state.
Well, can you blame them?
No, not at all. But the interesting thing is that in order to do so,
yeah,
because the new state would be formed within what is currently a state, the state legislature would have to vote on it and approve it. So, hey, we want to take our ball and go home and and build a new house, and the legislature can say, no, we're not going to let that happen. Or, yeah, we can let that happen.
Well, you get the representatives from those districts who might vote for it. I don't know if the representatives necessarily match the constituents' beliefs, because that happens a lot in this country.
Right.
Where the constituents' beliefs are ignored, and then just the people in government make their own decisions and think it's great for us. But you also may get a couple of the angry representatives who are like, yeah, you know what? You want it so bad? Go.
I hope so. But here's the other thing. Apparently, there's a group or a movement that's starting to get underway in Nebraska also, a similar movement to form another state.
Nebraska?
Yeah.
What, does one actually want more guns than the other? How does that even...
Yeah. We want more guns. We can't get any more guns.
No, we want more.
No, we want more. We want to manufacture them ourselves, like Montana.
We're going to Montana, and we're going to stamp them so you can only sell them in Montana. Oh, okay.
I love that. So anyways, I'm really curious to see how this is going to come out. And where are you going to put that star? You have to get a whole new pattern. And 51 doesn't really work. I mean, I guess you could do maybe like a circle again. Ooh, a peace sign. Right? The circle and then like...
Yeah, that is so matching what this country needs right now. Well, if you get 52 because of half of Nebraska splits, now it's a little. Now you can do like 26 and 26, so you could actually break that down a little bit.
A little bit easier.
Maybe trapezoid, parallelogram. Trapezoid would be good because if you tilt it a little bit to the left, you could add one star at the top left corner and one star at the bottom right corner.
Right.
Just an idea. And I'm going to ask you a question. If you don't know the answer, don't get mad at me. I'll be shocked if you don't know the answer. Can you, in memory, recall any other state that's ever tried or threatened to try to do that?
California.
All right, then. When?
Yeah, California has threatened to do. They've actually done it a couple times because of the water situation in California.
Right.
Between Northern and Southern California, they have talked about forming a Northern California and a Southern California, two separate states. I'd have to look and see exactly when the last time it came up was, but I believe there was a movement in I want to say 70s. I'd have to research it. And the northern part of the state wanted to split off and become the state of Jefferson. And if you're driving up, I want maybe towards the Willits area in California, there's actually a barn that says something to the effect of "Welcome to the state of Jefferson" or something like that.
No
which
kidding.
is a remnant from that movement. Yes, it is.
Learned a little bit of history here. Thank you very much. Well, I kind of, even if it's a little bit of a bluff, and I'm sure some people don't think it's a bluff. I'm sure there are people that are behind the movement who are very much into it.
With my answer.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, not a problem. And then just a couple of years ago, the Southern California, Riverside County, there were conservatives there that wanted to split off also because, look, in California, a lot of the state is red.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of agriculture there.
A lot of unpopulated areas.
And there's a lot of agriculture too, or potential agriculture area that you always save a little 3-inch silverfish or whatever, so we can't water our crops. Different story. But they wanted to split off and call form a different state also. So it's been a couple times that it has actually come up in California's history where they've seriously discussed breaking away. There's no way, especially with the Democrats having a supermajority in the state of California.
Oh, it's never going to happen.
Because, if you take your agriculture and money away, how are we supposed to feed everybody that's on the dole?
I don't.
And
it
not
just
the pineapple.
Won't happen. No, because that's a different state.
Right.
All the way around. It's going to be interesting to see how Colorado rolls out. And I can understand why they're upset. I think there's no issues, in my opinion, as to why they're upset. Colorado has a very conservative area, as we're seeing now, as well as a very liberal, Democrat, progressive area, but that's in the bigger cities, Denver, Vail, places like that. I'm going to be, with the NSA thing that came out and all the other stuff, especially with the NSA, it's going to be interesting to see if that actually pushes people further into, hey, you know what? Screw this. We want to do our own thing. We want to tell the federal government to get out. We want to tell the state government to leave us the hell alone. We can do this better, and we'll take the financial hit. Maybe we'll take a cut in federal funding for a few years. We'll get through it because people have gotten through it before without federal funding and move on to the other side, and we're going to actually try to show the rest of the country that if you want, you can do this.
Here's what, and I don't remember a time when there's been this much talk and serious talk about secession, be it counties wanting to break off from states and form new states, whether it's remember the petitions, right, that were
Louisiana,
sent,
Texas. I think Alabama had one.
Montana,
yeah, and that was after the gun control, when all the executive orders were signed for gun control earlier this year.
Right.
We are a divided nation right now, and that's sad in a lot of ways.
We are, but I don't recall a time, I mean, obviously, except like the, early 1860s when the Civil War happened. That's a different, we're not talking about that. But I don't recall a time where there's been this much talk about pulling away from a government, be it state, be it federal. And I think there are people, look, the huge pockets of population in these densely populated urban environments really control a lot of the state legislatures and so forth. So you have these small pockets of area. Granted, I understand, well, it's by population, so really they represent the people. Listen, though that one small dense pocket of people, I can't speak that. Population pocket.
Pocket people,
right.
People pocket.
They're making decisions based upon liberal policies and so forth that are affecting rural areas.
Right.
What works in a city and what you think is a great idea and love everybody and give them all a bunch of money for free and a bunch of issues we discussed before, it doesn't work in agricultural farmland.
No.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work in those areas. And as a result, look at California. They can lose that agriculture. They've already lost a huge share of crops. If you drive the I-5 from Northern California all the way down to Southern California, about the middle of the state, you come across this dust bowl.
That used to be
farmland. It used to be very arid farmland.
Yeah.
And it's not usable anymore because Central Valley is not getting the water it needs because of these EPA restrictions and legislation to save a fish.
The red-breasted booby wobbler. So people aren't going to eat now. It's mind-numbing to me and mind-boggling the extent we will go to stranglehold on people's well-being and people's life in order to make a small number happy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we've really gone to a lot in this nation. And it's insane to me that lawmakers can sit up there and tout all these ridiculous things. And, the first person that comes to mind is Pistol Grip Pelosi. She's the first one to talk about issues of the few and ignore issues of the country. And, and talk to these people, and they, the people who live in the area code 94332.5, there's 12 people, and they're really, really upset, blah, 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 blah. And they go on and go on and go on, and that's what takes up the time of our government. It's like, hey, I understand those people need to be heard, and I certainly don't think that they don't have the right to be heard.
Yeah.
But you have to look at the problems of the whole. Let's fix big problems and worry about the little ones when we fix the big ones. Because when we fix the big ones, we can get to the little ones. But as soon as you start saying, let's fix big problems, they smoke screen. And then you get all these, I was talking about earlier today with somebody is, when it comes to gun control, these Hollywood liberals are the worst at pushing an agenda they know nothing about. And they start making all these commercials. Oh, guns are bad and this and that. This. Have you ever used a gun outside of, and I don't mean a movie gun. Have you ever, well, yeah, one time 25 years ago I went with a friend and we shot a gun and it scared me. Okay. So you have no idea what you're talking about, but you'll lay your face to it because it's popular.
Right.
And you want your face to be on the forefront of it, and that way when your movie comes out, these people will say, oh, I remember that guy. That guy was so anti-gun, it was great. So I'm going to go see his movie, kill everybody, and let God sort him out, released by Warner Brothers in 2016. And they go and make these ridiculous over-the-top movies. So that's what we are up against all the time, that liberal machine, that media machine, the smoke screens. And then when something like Colorado comes up, I look at it and go, hey, there's a group of people who aren't being BS'd. There's a group of people that actually are paying attention and go, that's not good enough for me. You're not representing me. You're not representing the way we want to live. We want out. Screw you.
But you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, hey, if you want to live in a conservative state, move to a conservative state. And so I don't think that the legislature is going to approve that.
No.
Because they would be losing that tax base, right? And even if they did, I don't know that the Congress, the U.S. Congress would approve it.
No, but it sends a message.
It does send a message.
Just like it did.
But they don't listen.
I think more people are going to start listening soon. Listen, I just told you.
No, I'm not listening. See how that works?
We have, and we're going to go into it later, one of the most, in my opinion, scandalous administrations to have existed. In my personal opinion.
And there is a Huffington Post article that seems to back that up.
Right. So I think people in this country are starting to, listen, we had Monica last week who called in the middle of the show. Great call.
Mm-hmm.
She was a former Obama supporter
mm-hmm.
who's seen the light and said, hey, you know what, we were kind of duped.
And she described herself as left of center.
Right.
So she's not like some, conservative who decided to support Obama because the Republican Party is broken. She's a left of center Democrat.
Right.
Right.
Probably more of a traditional Democrat.
Right. Not progressive, I wouldn't think. Or didn't sound like it anyways. But somebody who could engage in robust conversation.
And she was fed up.
And debate, and she was fed up.
With NSA and Benghazi, and she said it right along, she thinks that she voted for the image the first time, and the second time she voted against Romney. She wasn't voting necessarily for Obama.
Right.
But she voted against Romney, and that, we had the conversation of how sad it is that we have the two-party system that we talk about all the time.
And how many people voted against Bush?
Right.
I did find something while we were talking, because I couldn't remember exactly when the idea of the state of Jefferson came up, but I didn't know it. And I was off by about 29 years. The original idea came up in 1941, and it was dropped at least temporarily when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor December 7th, 1941. Can I say Japanese attacked us? Is that racist, or
no?
I can say
that happened.
A lot of things happened, but you're not allowed to talk
about it.
No, that's history.
We were attacked by the
It's like when I said Martin Luther King was a Republican because his niece Alveda King, who would know, wrote a whole article about it and got called a bunch of names and dirty messages and stuff. So, I mean, that happened too, but
I remember a conversation I had with a liberal a couple of years ago. I was in an airport and we were talking about different things, and I was at the bar at the airport because where else would I be?
Where else would you be anywhere? I mean, let's be realistic.
Right. And we were talking about Hawaii and World War II came up, and I said, well, the Japanese did attack us. And he goes, did they really, though? Because if you think about it, it wasn't officially a state yet. It was just a territory, blah, blah, blah. And I just shook my head, and I looked at him, and I said, really? That's really how far you have to go? You have to actually defend them? And the fact he was plainly upset that, and there were tons of people in the bar, and I'm not quiet by any stretch of the imagination.
That's weird. I totally pictured.
But I was just shaking my head. I said, "You're going to be kidding me? They attacked us. That was their intention. That was their goal, was to attack America, and they succeeded. And it was the Japanese, the Empire of Japan, and he eventually walked away, which I thought was kind of weird, because we're having such a brilliant and engaged conversation after."
Well, they really appreciate deep, robust debate. That's
what it's come to in this country. But did they really attack us? Yeah, jackass. They actually did attack us.
You should have said, you know what? No, they didn't. They flew aircraft made by what is now a car manufacturer.
Mitsubishi.
Right, Mitsubishi.
So I still won't buy one.
Right, and they make TVs and other things.
Won't buy one of those either.
Over here, and they dropped things that exploded on some of our things.
So technically, we were
people happen to
die.
Right. So we shouldn't have been in the way of.
That's where he was going. It was going to be a gun control argument.
Yeah.
No, the bombs attacked us. The people didn't. Just like the guns kill people, people don't.
Right.
I didn't let him finish his thought.
See, why didn't you let him? And that's what's
such a jerk.
That's what's wrong with you conservatives.
Here's what's even more wrong with us conservatives. We got to take a break.
That is wrong.
And we'll be back in 3 minutes at the Sackheads Radio Show.
Hey folks, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank the men and women of our armed forces, as well as our first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for making this country and our communities a better and safer place. God bless.
Hello, I'm Ashley, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Dr. Larry Arnn on why the Constitution limits government.
James Madison writes in Federalist 51 that men are not angels. Their passions and self-interest often get the better of their reason and sense of justice. So we need government in order to protect our rights against those who would take them away. But for the same reason, Madison writes, government must be limited because people in government have passions and interests too. Many Americans today forget this, supposing that we can do away with constitutional limits on government, supposing that the unelected bureaucrats being put in charge of our health care, for example, will rule as if they are angels. If Madison was correct about human nature, this is foolish and dangerous.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.org.
Hi, this is Sarah Marie Brenner. You know, we often talk on the Brenner Brief about the fact that there really needs to be an organization to help people at the local level who are interested in running for things like school boards, city council, and other local offices. Well, I think I finally have the solution for you, at least for you women out there. It's called Politigal Network, Politigal Network.com. Their website's going to be launching mid-August, but they're already on Twitter at PoliticalUSA. I encourage you to follow them and become a member. Their goal is to be the #1 resource for conservative women. So if you love freedom, liberty, the United States of America, and politics, check out PoliticalNetwork.com or Twitter at PoliticalUSA.
How you doing? John Grant here. When I'm not slaving over a hot microphone on the 405radio.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, I check out Sean and Clint here at Sackheads Radio. We all appreciate the best political bloggers, writers, and commentators. We either get them on our shows or we make fun of them, as it should be. So check us out live Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern or forever on the podcasts on the 405radio.com.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I want to talk to you a minute about our friends over at HomefrontHugs.com. They're an amazing organization of volunteers who take their time, effort, and money to take care of our troops overseas as they serve our great nation. HomefrontHugs.com. You can donate, write letters to troops, adopt a troop, you name it, you can do it. Help those wonderful folks who protect our freedoms. Go to HomefrontHugs.com. Tell them Sackheads Radio sent you.
Now back to Clint and Sean on Sackheads Radio, radiating elegancy and quality.
And we're back. You know, I was just thinking at the break, we were talking about a few things.
Yeah.
What if every county that was conservative, just stay with me, each formed our own states, in the whole union, okay. Not just in like California, Colorado, what's going on there. I mean, all the way around.
So every individual conservative county formed a new state.
Yeah.
Okay, so and each one of those would have 2 senators, right? And then, so you have 2 senators, maybe 1 representative. How big would you have to make the U.S. Capitol building?
Can you imagine how bad parking would be?
You know what? I bet from all the hot air, that Capitol building may in fact actually pull free from its foundation.
Dude, that would be outstanding. And it would just go up like a giant balloon into the sky.
Wow.
That's my thought. Maybe I should run on that. That can be my platform.
Okay, what
I'm
about
nothing crazy about this?
What about if every conservative state formed one big state? Right? So you would have maybe 1 county here in Georgia that's part of the same state as some conservative county in California. And
I gotta drive 5 states away. It's gonna take me about 9 minutes. Because they have a better price on booze. Hey, real quick, I just want to mention, we were talking about Colorado. I just want to mention our thoughts and prayers with the people dealing with the wildfires in Colorado right now, and we hope that the firefighters out there get a handle on that as soon as possible and really really let those people rest, because it's moving. Last I read, it was moving all over the place, and that's pretty scary in my opinion. I'm sure in a lot of people's opinions, but mine specifically, because I don't care about everyone else's most of the time. Anyhow, hey, I was thinking today, for whatever reason, of a ship that was sinking and rats running off of it. Deputy Director Morrell resigned from the CIA today.
Okay.
I didn't know how I was going to tie that in.
Okay.
So, and you should
that's weird. I don't even know how you drew that.
The amazing comedian Bob Newhart said that when you tell a story, you should try to tie things together. So that's how I got that to the surface.
Okay.
And he's the guy who, when the Benghazi...
Bob Newhart?
No, there's Morrell.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Deputy Director Morrell. When the Benghazi emails were going around, as he had a lot to do with putting out or cutting out the tweets from Cairo or the information on Cairo, the previous warnings that we had. If you read the documents, which I've actually finally got through, you can see his name is all over it. He was one of the big people, even to the point that Petraeus wasn't happy about it, to cut out a lot of what actually happened from the talking points memo. So he resigned today, and I wonder, there's been a lot of resignations lately from this administration. And
I don't think they have any resignations. I really believe that they actually just go full bore into whatever it is they're trying to do.
No, not reservation.
Constitution be damned.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm having kind of an issue with my headphone here, so I'm sorry. I kind of misunderstood what exactly you were saying. I apologize.
But, I wonder if people are pretty much saying, I don't want to be around when the rest of this really comes out. I don't want to be attached to that. We all know Hillary left because she wants to run, and Hillary knew, especially with Benghazi, what was going to come out.
I think he left because, listen, Obama has been such a hammer in this administration with people that have done... I can't even finish that. Why are you resigning? You're not going to get fired.
Right, at all. Polls proved that. You literally could come into a meeting, balls out,
right?
And nobody's going to say booty except for Joe, who might say nice balls.
Right. Or say, yeah, those are pretty good. Check these out. Hold still, Barack.
So, anyone interested in a Roman helmet? Just offering. Speaking of Rome, this whole thing's going to come down. I'll see you guys later.
Was that the vice president weighing in?
Yeah. And now we're in from the vice president. No.
Or is that audio from Tommy Boy? I don't even know what that was.
So it makes me wonder if there's not, especially with IRS coming out, the Justice Department going after the press, if people aren't really going to start separating themselves from this administration, and people who maybe stayed on because of they felt that it was their duty, or they felt that it was the right thing to do, and then all of a sudden these things started happening, and they're like, now they're getting to the point where they're like, this is the point of no return. I'm either going to be in this to the end, and I'm going to be tied into this nonstop, or I got to go now. And it starts to make you,
I feel that way every week with this show.
We're so far away. Joe won't go because he's going to run, and if he jumps now, the Democratic Party will push him aside.
Joe won't go. There was a Dare Joe Biden about coming clean with the administration and giving him something to run on.
That was a good one. But there's going to be more to follow, and I start to wonder if cabinet members are, some members of the cabinet that maybe aren't as progressive.
Think about this. Cabinet members, what'd you know? We don't meet anything. He never meets with us. What the hell did we know?
I didn't think about
Ask the IRS guy.
He was there 400 and something times.
Exactly. What are you asking us for?
But do you think that you're going to start seeing some big names not disappear? That didn't come out right at all. Some big names start to resign from positions.
Like Jay Leno?
No, that's already been announced.
Yeah, that's already been announced.
He's going to be replaced by that Fallon guy.
I don't. Not en masse.
Well, they won't let him resign en masse.
Not en masse.
Because that would be bad. But if you notice, It's like a week, 2 weeks, and then there's a small
we
resignation.
talked about that. I think that would be good. If there was a mass firing.
Yeah,
right,
but I'm not talking. I'm talking about resignations.
Mass resignations. It would send a message.
Yeah, but you know they won't accept resignations at certain times. He's got to save face. He's getting to the point now where if he doesn't have any sort of win here soon, this whole country is going to turn on Democrats. It's bound to happen.
Well, or at least progressives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's already kind of happening. There was an article, and I was surprised to see this on the Huffington Post. Eric Zeus.
Well, that's one of your favorite newspapers. So.
Dr. Seuss. Dr. Zeus.
Dr. Zeus.
I don't know if he's a doctor or not. Is he like a doctor or a god?
Is he board certified?
Is he or a god? I mean,
maybe he is a doctor for gods.
Dr. Zeus. And the article that kind of caught my attention, it says, is the Obama administration the most corrupt in U.S. history? And it's an interesting article. I don't often refer people to the Huffington Post, but we like to check out the Huffington Post to kind of
see what the other side's talking about.
Yeah, we like to read both sides of the issue to try and have some sort of intelligent debate. But without getting into all of the specifics of the article, it's a pretty decent article. But what it goes on about, it kind of gets into the meat and potatoes about halfway in. But it talks about a couple reports that are done. One is the Worldwide Governance Indicators, which is put out by the World Bank, which scores countries on control of corruption. And what they found that the rankings during the Obama years, so 2009, 2010, 2011, it indicated that the United States' performance was not as good as it had been in the prior rankings from 1996 to 2008, and that the U.S. scored from the bottom 10% of developed countries prior to Obama's regime to now they're at the bottom of the top 15% of developed countries.
Interesting.
So it fell, and there are several categories. There's a global competitiveness report that the article also cites from 2012 to 2013, which rates 144 counties on various factors and has corruption-related factors as well that are looked at. And across the board, I think with the exception of 2 or 3 categories, the U.S. has fallen in its rankings of corruption. And it's pretty interesting reading.
Scary.
Well, I don't think it's scary. I think it's interesting. I don't think it's any big shock that I believe that this administration has corruption issues or is corrupt.
Well, there was kind of a really good quote when we went over the article, and I think that's very telling. And the Huffington Post is a very liberal newspaper. I don't know. Do we still have newspapers anymore? Either way, production. Ariana Huffington's a huge Obama supporter. They were behind him like nobody's business from the word go. So for them to release this, they could be arguing that they're trying to have a little bit of gumption as a reporter and that they have to hit him because everybody else has. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of their job at some point to throw out 1 or 2 bad things about him, or that people will realize how jaded they are. And I think they are a jaded newspaper without a doubt. But for them to come out and this Dr. Zeus guy who
knows if he's a doctor? I doubt it.
But it's a funny name. I think he might be.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
The interesting thing about the Huffington Post is they say he's like the same guy who's obviously uber progressive, and Obama is a progressive. We haven't had a more progressive president than Obama. Maybe Woodrow Wilson was as progressive as him, maybe. But it still likens him to like a Romney light. They're still trying to push him off like he's kind of a conservative,
super conservative
right,
Democrat. Yeah,
right. That's what they're trying to push him off as. But what it says, I want to read this quote. Now you kind of referenced it, but I'm going to quote the article. It says, but even more than this will be needed: repudiation of Obama personally by the Democratic Party. He is a historic stain upon the party, much like George W. Bush is upon the Republicans. So, and then it concludes that one paragraph, does Obama represent us? Really? And yes, he represents the progressive movement.
Quite a bit.
People are now seeing that, so you guys are calling to kind of detract. Oh, he's not a progressive. He's more like Romney. He's more like Bush.
Right. They weren't all that far apart, him and Romney. Now the election's over. They weren't all that far apart.
Thank you. We said that before, I think, right? But I thought it was interesting. So I don't know that he has any friends other than the Secret Service agents that protect him.
And they do it because they have to.
They get a paycheck for doing it.
Which they spend in Colombia.
Right. No, and look, I'm not trying to put the Secret Service down. They have a job and they're very professional, the way they handle their job. But you know what I mean.
I was they're making a joke.
Yeah. No, you're not. You're being very disrespectful.
This is Sackhead Clint saying that was Sackhead Sean talking about the Secret Service.
No, but you know what I mean. He doesn't have a lot of political allies, it seems, right now, because people are running scared from him. I mean,
yeah.
I agree that with this article, I believe in. We were even trying to check and see which administrations had what kind of scandals going on, and I don't think we were able to find one. I certainly don't remember one where a presidential administration had this many scandals going on.
No, and I went back.
Even Teapot Dome. Really?
I went back, and I'm just talking general issues in the administration. Every administration kind of has that one big thing that they deal with, or that one big scandal, and all the way back to Jefferson with the potential.
The state?
No, not the state of Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson.
Oh.
There were the allegations that he had children with one of his slaves. You get back to Old Hickory. You like that? Andrew Jackson.
Yep, I like it.
And there's the Petticoat affair. We can go through Grant, and you go all the way up. Nixon, there was Watergate. All the way through.
Clinton, there was a blowjob.
Right.
Or perjury. Sorry, I get those. I get those two mixed
up. Even the Bush administration had the CIA plane leak.
Reagan had Contra.
Contra, right.
Not the video game. Up, up, down, down, left,
he
right,
might
left,
have
right,
had it.
B8,
You don't know.
Start.
He might have had it. You don't know. That was a great job quoting Contra. But I don't recall, and I couldn't, in my history, see another presidency that was this scarred with scandal. And I'm sure there are those out there saying that it's because the right pushes it and that he's being set up for it, blah, 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 blah. These are legit scandals. If you took any one of these scandals away from this administration and put it on another administration, it would be a huge deal.
I agree. So you say that no other president you believe has had this many scandals, right? Like not even Putin?
No.
He's a president, right?
Nothing Putin does is a scandal.
Is Putin like the most interesting man in the world?
Dude.
Right, like on the horse, shirt off.
I just want to hang out with him for a day.
Do you really?
Yes, and I will tell you why.
Tell me.
Think about how much vodka that man can consume.
Okay.
There's nothing you couldn't do in Russia. Like, you're like, hey, I want to go for a ride in a MiG Frogfoot. All right, jump in, let's go. I'm flying, though. Holy crap. But you'd probably land.
Right, because it's Putin.
And then at the end of the night, have a cigar and discuss how he killed people with piano wire back in the day. That would be...
Okay, what about hanging out with Putin and Joe Biden?
You want to talk about a good day. That would be a wonderful afternoon. I'd probably be not welcome back in several countries.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'd maybe have to register for something afterwards. I don't know. I would certainly need medication. I know that would be a possibility. I'd probably be hospitalized.
Psych meds?
And there'd probably be a tattoo of Biden's face on my ass. And I wouldn't even know how it happened.
You mean on the other cheek?
Right, on the other cheek.
Because Putin's already on one.
Putin would be on the left. But the good part is my face would be on theirs. So that's all that counts.
Don't bend over to tie your shoe, Sean. Oh, God, why does it look like they're going to eat a chocolate donut?
Oh, why would you even do that? Oh, we just went down. No, I'm just kidding. That's right about where we normally are. But, yeah, I think that would be a fun day.
That's even more funny when you're really tired. Just so you know, I may listen to this back and be like, "Yeah, it wasn't that funny," but right now, I just killed me. That is hilarious.
Everything is more funny when you're exhausted or drunk, whichever one. But yeah, so I did do a whole bunch of research over the last few days because I was trying to not give them the benefit
brush up on your history.
But we try on this show to be fair.
We do,
and we do hammer him a lot. But the more I look into it, it's because he gives us reason versus.
Listen, let's just use college lingo. He sucks.
He does suck.
Let me ask you a question. Would you?
Yeah.
If invited.
If invited, yeah.
And I know my answer to this. Would you go to the White House and meet with President Obama?
Sure, I would.
To discuss.
Without a question, I absolutely would.
You have faith that you'd be allowed to walk out of that building again?
No, I don't have any faith in that whatsoever. I might be allowed to walk out, but I wouldn't be allowed to go home.
Right.
Oh, yeah, no, you want to leave? There's the door. Have a good day. Get him. I'm still in the room. At least wait. Oh, sorry. Go ahead and outside. Close the door. But jump. Get him. I can hear you. I know.
It's always more interesting when they run. That's your cue, Sean. Run.
I get $5 in the fat kid.
3-1. Who's got me?
No, I would, and I would like to sit down, and I know the amount of persecution that would come after that. I'm sure that I would be. The IRS would come after me. I'm sure that like my car would get towed. They'd be so far up inside my business that it would be disgusting. But just to have that opportunity to sit there with them and say, hey, no holds barred, what's going on with Benghazi? And be honest with me. And if I think you're not going to be honest, I'm going to say it to your face right here in front of everybody. Hey, what's up with the IRS? How deep into it did you know? Well, no, don't give me that BS. Because you can't tell me that you didn't know when everybody else around you knew. No, I swear I didn't know. Okay, so you are just a completely incompetent nincompoop. Well, I don't know if nincompoop is the word I'd go with. Incompetent, yeah. But definitely not nincompoop. I would say aloof.
Sean, I don't appreciate your language. I'm being straight with you, and Sean, I'm about to kick your ass.
Now let me be clear. As soon as you leave this White House, nothing's going to happen to you. And
now, Sean, here's the beautiful thing, because I don't personally have to kick your ass, but I've got about 12 guys out there who are ready to come in here and kick your ass for me.
Are you the police? No, ma'am. We're musicians.
They're pretty aggravated. So sorry about that. But I will have you back for a beer summit. And we can talk about how good your medical treatment was under Obamacare.
Listen, Sean, Clint, thank you for coming. I don't like wars. I don't really vote for wars. And because you guys are at war with a couple people, I decided to bring them in. I'd like you guys to meet Michael Moore. And
yeah, baby!
Yeah. At which point I'd stand up and be like, you're fat, you're a douchebag. Remember Yorktown. Peace out.
Well, if it was just me and I had to fight all three of them, which is how it would go down, I would immediately take a couple donuts and throw them in the corner. Now I have Moore and Matthews tied up in the corner, fighting each other and wearing themselves out.
Right. I like your strategy.
And then Pierce Morgan would be easy. I would call INS and say, you really need to check his paperwork.
Ooh, but see, there's your flaw in the plan. Because INS isn't getting rid of anybody, okay? Anybody, unless you're a German immigrant who came over here, got yourself asylum by a judge so that you could homeschool your family based on Christian values, and then the Justice Department, Eric Holder, found out about it and wanted that commuted to send you back to your country so you could lose your kids. But if you're illegal, you're good here. So there's the flaw in your plan.
No, you're right. I didn't think that all the way through.
No, you didn't. I mean, you had a really good start.
I'd probably just kick him in the shin then.
Okay.
Crikey. Oh, wait, that's Australian. Whatever. Insert that English accent here. I'll go back to my Obama. It's closer.
You listen, you look at Pierce Morgan and be like, hey, ever see Unforgiven? Yeah, I'm Gene Hackman, you're English Bob. So
run. No, I would. I would welcome the opportunity, all joking aside. And I'm sure if in this crazy world that doesn't exist, if I had the opportunity to sit down with the president, I would like to think that even though it might get heated, something good would come out of it. I doubt it, because I'd be involved, and very rarely does anything good come out of it when I'm involved. But I'd try to at least, I wouldn't give him an out, but I'd give him a way to explain himself. Like, why would you allow this to happen? Well, I didn't know. Okay, so what are you doing in the future to keep that from happening again? How are you keeping yourself in the loop? What changes has your administration? And I don't want to hear from the carny. I want to hear straight from the horse's mouth. You tell me what's. I want to hear straight from Sarah Jessica Parker. No, I want to hear straight from the president,
Mr. Ed.
And so, what have you done different?
Me?
Well, I've moved this guy around, and I told this person he could resign. Oh, so nothing. So you've done nothing differently.
I would take a different approach. I would also go and speak with the president. However, I wouldn't discuss current issues with him because I believe he has a Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Never mind. I wouldn't discuss those issues with him because the press is already discussing those issues, and I know where you're going with why you would do that because from the press angle. I would want to have a constitutional debate with him.
I'm not done yet.
And I would want it recorded. Listen, he's a big fancy lawyer, right? He's been through Ivy League law schools. The guy is all kidding aside, he is very intelligent.
Well, all right,
but no, I'm not done. Hold up. So he's very intelligent, and as a lawyer, he should know how to argue. But I want to know if little old me could, and I'm fairly confident I could, have a constitutional debate with him. Debate him with fact. And granted, I already know he's going to try and spin and, old document and all this other stuff.
Right.
And that's easily sidestepped. But I would like to see where he goes with that and how he handles that on the record.
What would be the first question you would ask him?
I don't know that I don't know where I would start with that. I think there would have to be a moderator, right, if it were a debate, or even just a constitutional discussion. And even if it's something like, hey, listen, how does your gun control ideas fit in with the Second Amendment? I think that's a good place to start because that's an issue that's germane today. Right. Or, and here's, we have to reduce gun violence. Why do we have to reduce gun violence? Why can't we reduce all violence?
Right.
Why are we reducing just gun violence? Have you ever noticed that's how they frame the debate?
Why are you so prejudiced against gun violence and not general violence?
Right. Well, general violence, he's out in Afghanistan right now running the...
He actually does an outstanding job, I'm not going to lie.
So, or hey, Mr. President, how is it you believe that these NSA wiretaps and phone records and so forth, how is that constitutional in your world under the Fourth Amendment? Well, you see, we have to balance the need for security. No. We don't jeopardize. Listen, I understand where you're trying to go with this, but these are fundamental and these are unyielding the way they were written. So why are we sacrificing anything
at all?
At all. That's not what. Well, because, listen, times change. Hey, then amend it.
Right.
There's an amendment process. I want to see how that debate would go. I would love that.
I think it would be kind of interesting. I think he would try to stay up, and he would try to kind of, like you said, he'd answer a question with a question, I'm pretty sure. You get a lot of this.
Ooh, I love to dance a little side step. Now they see me, now they don't, have come and gone.
But I think one of the most important things is you will never get anything he wouldn't want on record. And I think that's exactly where that would stay. He would never get that far into it. He would never allow it to happen because then he'd be on record and it could be used against him later. And believe me, the last thing this president wants right now is another thing that can be used against him.
Right. So wait a second. Nobody's debated you on the Constitution and you got your butt kicked. Why would the President of the United States, who touts the Constitution, not want to discuss the Constitution? I know the answer to that. But how could the rest of the country look at that and be like, yeah?
Well, because Carney, here's what he would do. He would send Carney out to the press when somebody, because if for some reason we were able to get that out publicly, hey, Clint wants to debate the president about the Constitution, and we got a big hullabaloo in the country, and the press was all over it. Carney would immediately walk out and just say that.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
And that's what Carney's response would be: is sorry, I can't answer these questions. I don't have time. I'm sick, and go home.
Would there be a song?
There would be a song.
What would it sound like?
No.
I'm doing this to you.
We're going up to a break.
What would it sound like? Okay, play it going into the break.
I don't know. I can't. We'll be back in a minute. You're such a jerk. On Sackheads Radio, 347-205-9399.
Hello, I'm Lori, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Dr. Larry Arnn on how the founders viewed God as the source of our equality and legal rights.
America's founders knew, obviously, that human beings are not equal in terms of strength or beauty, or in terms of intelligence, industry, or talents. They understood that because of such differences in talents and things like that, some people would be wealthier than others. But human beings are equal, the founders believe, in their possession of natural rights, such as the rights to life, liberty, and property. Today, many Americans reject this equality of rights in order to pursue equality of condition through redistribution, or spreading the wealth around, to use a famous formulation. This is destructive of liberty as the founders understood it.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.org.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I know I've said it before. Check out our friends at conservativeoutcry.net, but I really mean it. If you want interesting and exciting political commentary and analysis, that is the place to get it. Different, always spot on, always truthful, never pulling a punch. conservativeoutcry.net. Tell Rooster to get Bulldog back on and that Sackheads Radio sent you. And also, coming soon, the Sackheads Radio Forum on conservativeoutcry.net.
How you doing? John Grant here. When I'm not slaving over a hot microphone on the 405radio.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, I check out Sean and Clint here at Sackheads Radio. We all appreciate the best political bloggers, writers, and commentators. We either get them on our shows or we make fun of them, as it should be. So check us out live Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern or forever on the podcasts on the 405radio.com.
Hi, this is Sarah Marie Brenner. You know, we often talk on the Brenner Brief about the fact that there really needs to be an organization to help people at the local level who are interested in running for things like school board, city council, and other local offices. Well, I think I finally have the solution for you, at least for you women out there. It's called Politigal Network, Politigal Network.com. Their website's going to be launching mid-August, but they're already on Twitter at PolitigalUSA. I encourage you to follow them and become a member. Their goal is to be the #1 resource for conservative women. So if you love freedom, liberty, the United States of America, and politics, check out PolitigalNetwork.com or Twitter at PolitigalUSA.
Now back to Clint and Sean on Sackheads Radio, radiating elegancy and quality.
And we are back. The phone number is 347-205-9399. 9399. I have to hit the button. You know which button it is.
Red, white, blue. That's a joke, son. A flag waver.
Brings a smile to my face every single time. Rooster for conservativeoutcry.net as I sit here and drink out of your beautiful mug. Not your face, the actual cup that we ordered from your website. Oh,
and,
even
and
though
you know what?
should have done that. You should have gotten the mugs to look like your face.
Oh, God.
So I could drink.
They do. They actually do. that cartoon character is a cartoon representation of me.
I like your hat.
Why is it backwards? And why are the sights along the side of the gun?
That's just a weird way to shoot.
That's weird.
Hey, you have some pretty exciting...
I was drunk when I drew it. Hey, where's Joe Biden?
Last I saw him, he was in Brazil.
Joe Biden
dared.
is in hiding because nobody wants him to come out and say something.
I dare Joe Biden to seek political asylum in Venezuela.
Sacco, add that to the Dare Joe Biden page right now.
And put Rooster Cogburn's
put
name on there.
Rooster's name on that one. That's a good one. Hey, Rooster, I'm excited. Go ahead.
You and I talked earlier today, and apparently I've been advised that from time to time I may have offended certain members of the Sackheads Army during my weekly calls to the show. And while absolutely stunned by this revelation, my recent encounter with some really good drugs, meaning today, allowed me to evaluate this problem from a point of view that I don't normally enjoy. Here's what I'm sorry. Here's what I've learned.
You sound particularly mellow this evening.
I am mellow, but now here's what I've learned from just looking inwards. I'm a blogger. Actually, I'm a pretty good blogger, but my writing style is somewhat unique. It's kind of a mix of humor, sarcasm, and fact, all woven together into something that sings. Yet it's still based in sound conservative principles. But looking back to some of my obscure references on your show, they may in fact come across as offensive when not set in the proper context. For instance, my assertion that Michelle Obama is a Wookiee is by no means a racist statement, but you'd have to have read the corresponding blog post to understand that.
Right.
And while you both read my blog, there are millions of Sackheads listeners that don't. And that statement alone begs the question, why not? But I digress. So let me be. I'm sorry?
I said, well, fortunately now, when it becomes offensive and not offensive, or at least a question of whether or not it was meant for either race or funny, we do have Ken who judges that specifically for us from the Exceptional Conservative Show.
And he is in a position to judge a racial. We're not because we're white, but Ken can because Ken is in fact African American. So he is in a position. He is in a position as well. I think the Obama administration is okay with African Americans judging what is in fact racist versus funny. So while we're not qualified,
was that racist or funny?
That was funny. Ken is in fact. That may even be fact. That may even be fact. Ken can in fact do so, as can Vernessa.
Right.
But Ken is usually the one we defer to because he's funny.
He knows what the hell he's talking about.
Let's go back to the millions of Sackhead listeners that don't read my blog.
Okay.
Why not? Why not?
We're trying to get them, but they don't listen. They don't listen to anybody.
Yeah, they barely listen to us, and they only listen to us for the humor. They don't listen to the content.
I digress. Well, let me be clear to your audience, okay? I am not a bigot. I'm far from it. I'm not a chauvinist pig. Well, maybe a little, but I've been married to the same woman for the last 22 years. And I hold a very libertarian view with respect to our friends in the LGBT community. In fact, while I identify myself as conservative, I'm probably less conservative than the sackheads on certain issues. In fact, I know that.
Yeah, well,
so
we
that.
that.
Yeah, and with that said, I've decided that the problem is I need more time to ensure my remarks are taken in the context they're meant to be. And a 10-minute phone call just simply is not enough to properly weave my thoughts.
Well, and
so
how are you going to rectify that? Not rectify that. How are you going to rectify that?
Either you guys give me at least 30 minutes a week on the Sackhead show, or I'm going to be
What are you talking about? You're on for 30 minutes every week. You are a regular segment on the show. You have your own intro music.
Taco doesn't even get that.
Are we negotiating your contract? We going for 45?
Well, it's either that or I'm going to be forced to launch my own show.
Well, launch your own show.
Launch your own show.
We want you to launch your own show and continue to be a Sackhead contributor. But
you know what I'm going to do then?
Conservative Outcry Radio contributor.
The hell with both of you then. I'm going to launch my own show 1 week from Friday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Blog Talk Radio, and I will send the link out.
Absolutely thrilled that you're going to launch your own show. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be anyone who's read your blog. If people actually read your blog and don't just peruse over it and think that if they actually pay attention, they'll get your sense of humor. And then if they've listened to you on the show, I think it'll add to it. But I think it's going to be a great show. It's going to be different.
Now, what I'm curious about
I can't wait to see your green room when I come on the air live. But
are we still going to be able to have Rooster on the Sackhead show?
Oh, by all means.
You notice
are we
going to have our own?
I'm not cursing tonight because John from the 405 said that he would be interested in possibly putting my show on his site as well.
Well, I think if he listens to the show, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The only thing, like Clint was saying, is you need to have the Sackheads intro music so when we call in, you have something to play.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing that I've got lined up right now is Chewbacca screaming, but I'm working on it.
So starting next Friday, not this coming Friday, next Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Conservative Outcry Radio?
Yeah, simply Outcry Radio.
Outcry Radio.
We're going to lean more towards social issues.
Oh, my.
Interesting.
This will be a good listen. I can't wait to call in and be put on hold while I'm on hold.
Well, yeah, I'm going to keep you on hold like you do me.
Now, how is it possible for us to both call in and be patched in at the same time?
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm still learning this shit.
I can tell you right now, yes.
Okay.
So this will be fun. Hey, Rooster,
well, you notice I'm on Skype now, so I'm trying to learn all of this as I go. Now,
you sound so melodic.
I sound so what?
Melodic.
Oh, I am.
It's almost like they're
Valium and pain pills are really good when mixed together.
Is that what you're going to do every week for your show?
Did you have a beer on top of it all?
No, I don't drink. You know that. Only old duels.
This week, Valium and pain pills. It's the Outcry Radio Show. Hello, guys. Ooh, just keeping it real here. It's your brother from another mother. It's the Rooster. Just bringing it old school.
Now, let's be clear. I had a medical situation today that was taken care of.
I understand that, and I hope you're feeling better. See, this is called banter on the radio. You'll pick it up,
and you know what? And I'll tell you, at least at least you found a doctor who's willing to write those prescripts that easily. So congratulations on that.
I had to go into D.C. though. I had to go into D.C. because the ones in Maryland wouldn't do it.
You must have went to Joe's private guy.
Listen, this is what happened though when I went to the doctor. It kind of makes you wonder, and then I'll leave you people be.
What do you mean, you
people?
people? Come on.
You people.
What, white people?
Well, unlike Ken, who's what am I? Is it black or is it
not white?
Colored.
I don't think it's that.
I don't think you can say that anymore.
Because technically, I would.
Archie Bunker said that.
Pink is the color.
Archie Bunker said that, and Edith always whispered it.
That's true.
Like another brilliant show.
But everything is on computer now. They come out with their little laptops, and they've got your entire medical history on there. So when you get there, you have to fill out these forms, and they ask you hundreds and hundreds of questions. Have you ever had syphilis? Twice. Yeah.
To get a radio show?
Twice.
No. This is at the doctor. So,
I thought Blog Talk sent you a questionnaire.
Yeah. Compliments to the IRS.
So, you ever had syphilis? I don't know.
So anyway, I go back and I'm getting ready for my procedure, and they're going through everything that they've got listed on the computer. Well, do you still take this? Well, no, I haven't taken that in years. Oh, well, it says here that you took it. I'm just making sure. Do you still have this one? No, I don't have that problem anymore. And I'm wondering to myself, where is this going to go now with the advent of Obamacare? Are they going to see all of that stuff?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely are.
Yeah,
That's
because
how
they have to. How else are they going to decide what kind of care you get?
Well, you know what? I don't like it.
Well, good. A lot of people
I don't like it at all.
Did you like it before you knew that?
Well, no.
Okay.
But I don't like it a lot now.
Well, like everything else, as soon, and I'm sure it's already happened. If it isn't scheduled to happen, it may have already happened. I don't know the timing on it.
What, syphilis?
No, I think that's already happened.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure the government has downloaded.
My syphilis was back when they used to, they had the little grinder. That's how that was back in World War II, the big one.
The big one? And that was your second one, if I remember.
Third.
All that stuff's getting third. All that stuff's getting downloaded. And not only will they know of your current history, but I bet it's going to get to the point that the doctors will log into a federally based program and be able to get your medical records no matter what. Because, now if you switch one doctor to the other, you have to bring your medical records with you, or they have to go off of what you say. It's all going to be there. It's all going to be in one central repository, if you will.
How about this? You have blood work
I don't like
done.
it.
How about this?
I don't like it.
You have blood work done, and so now the government, because it's government health care, has access to your DNA.
Ooh.
Well, speaking of blood work, Ken, who is my good friend from the internet. I've never met Ken, but he lives right down the street. We're going to meet one day. If I were in need of blood and Ken had my type of blood and he gave me blood, would I become black?
How?
No, just whatever percentage you
of the blood, whichever one.
So then I would be an honorary brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and Clinton.
Oh.
See?
Look, hey, I've received blood, and I don't know what the heck I am now.
Right.
I
don't know what the hell I am.
It's on a regular basis.
Ken's in the chat room says, I stole your tires last night. Thanks for the contribution.
Yeah, but Ken was nice about it. He left them up on blocks.
Well, yeah. How are you going to get new ones on for him to take next week?
Well, you know what, guys? I don't like it at all. And you know what I don't like? I don't like.
They're going to build a DNA database with the blood work that you do.
Well, but you know why I don't like it? It's because I don't trust Obama.
Or anybody.
Well, yeah, but we had this discussion before about the Patriot Act, and I was all for the Patriot Act at the level that George Bush had it. Now it's
at the same level.
No, it's being
implemented
used a bit differently.
And it's being used differently, and that's the danger with enacting this type of legislation to begin with.
Yeah, but the difference being is that I trusted George Bush. Don't add me. Just sit there and listen.
You can tell me that on your show.
Okay.
Yes. No, we talked about that last week, and we aired our differences out. And I don't think we're all that far apart. But like you said, you said is, hey, you know what? I trusted Bush, and Clint brought up a great point of, yeah, but it's the next administration you have to worry about, and the guy after that,
exactly.
the guy after that, the gal after that, the girl after that,
it's like the liberals trust Obama with Obamacare. Well, what are the conservatives going to do with it? Right? They trust the courts. They trust with the fact that it is a tax. But then what if a conservative came in and says, well, hey, we can tax you if you don't buy health insurance, so now we're going to tax you if you don't buy a gun. And that's even though it was never meant to be that way, it's what the next administration is going to do. That's the danger of that type of legislation.
And you, Mr. Clint, brought me over to your side. I now agree fully with you. Yes, you did.
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
Wow, this is like deep thoughts with Jack Handy. We're all breaking ground here and moving forward. Hey,
now, for the record, I'm going to let you guys go because I know you got just a little bit of time left.
I know, 30 minutes is almost up.
I didn't say fuck. I did say shit, but it was woven into a sentence to where it wasn't really offensive.
And I think
I did not. I
so
did not call for anarchy.
No, you did not. And
that was my gift to both of you.
Well, thank you. And I'll tell you, I didn't hear what you said because my headphones cut out. I didn't hear what you didn't say before the shit.
Hey, Rooster, don't let him bait you, man.
Did something happen to the show last week?
All right. Well, yeah, we had some technical difficulties. Hey, we have somebody else on the line. We're gonna get on down the line and take some calls. And next Friday night.
Oh, so you're afraid now, aren't you?
Next Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
No, a week.
Hey, Carney, that was a perfect non-answer. My partner just did Carney.
You guys have a great night.
You too.
I promise to be on my best behavior.
Rooster, so I hope you're feeling better.
We'll be back
feeling much better.
Night as well.
And between you and me, I'm not high right now. That was earlier today.
Okay. Rooster for conservativeoutcry.net. Thank you for joining us, sir.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye, Rooster. Hey, does Rooster know we're going to be on next Wednesday also?
I don't know. We'll have to tell him.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully he's still listening. You know who I know is listening right now?
Ken.
Ken from the Exceptional Conservative Show. Ken?
Yo, Al Sharpton, I really agree with you, man. I really think it's time for us to take back our country. You know, the way it was before all these white people came here, man. You know what I'm saying? We need to kill Whitey.
Ken. Huh? It's the Sackhead Show, not Al's show, Ken.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to put your conservative hat on right now.
Good evening. I'm sorry. Good evening. It's a great pleasure to have tuned in this evening to the Sackhead Show. Sackhead Clint, Sean, and
sir. How are you?
Okato. Good to know that you are working in our country.
Here's the best part. I don't even know what nationality is, but I know it's not Mexican.
Right.
Billy likes tacos. That's why it's in his name in the chat room.
Oh, gee. You know what? I'm really offended by my brother from another mother. As if my blood ain't good enough to make him black.
Listen, Ken, we know you're not really black because you're conservative. Okay?
And we've been told time and again that never happens.
Yeah. Listen, it's in all the textbooks. Okay, it's everywhere. You cannot be conservative and black.
What you trying to say now is a brother can't read. I've read it before. I'm just saying. Why can't my blood make you white or black? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
racism, man.
Look at it this way, Ken. I donate blood. So if you ever needed blood and then you come out of it and you can't dance, now you know what happened.
Hey, listen, if you get Sean's blood and something up on you,
no,
I'm
you
just
know
throwing it out there. You know what happened. Did I get some white man blood?
No, see, what you want is that black man blood because it adds 6 inches. I'm telling you, your wives will never do the same.
We talked about Deputy Morale.
Oh, honey, go back to the store.
How does he not have his own 30-minute stand-up on HBO? I don't know how. You kill me, dude, every time. Every time you kill me. Hey, what do you make of Deputy Morale standing down? Now, some people said there was that he had some sort of weird affair going on. But do you think that this is another kind of big name, the Obama administration, that's trying to separate themselves?
From whom?
Just from
black people, we don't get our news from anywhere but the local news station, and they didn't mention it. So. In fact, the unemployment rate in Black America has fallen since the last time I watched the local news. So if you could persnickify me and let a brother antiquify and exactitude it, I will be able to parlay what you're talking about.
So this week, today, as a matter of fact, it was announced earlier that CIA Deputy Director Michael Morrell resigned his position from the CIA, and his name was the one that was all over the Benghazi documents, crossing out
like
words
literally like in crayon. Just he wrote his name over and over again. It was ridiculous.
And we're running up against the break, so I'm going to pose the question, and then we'll go to break, come back, and pick it up. But he was the one who he scratched out a lot of mentions of Al-Qaeda, the experience of the fighters in Libya. It goes on and on. He essentially was part of the CIA talking points memo that tried to remove the terrorism aspect to the memo. So we talked about it earlier that I thought that he is jumping ship like a couple other fairly prominent people in the Obama administration, I think starting with Hillary, who didn't leave because she's running, I don't think. I think she left because she needed to get out of Benghazi because she's running.
You know what? You know, the first person that jumped ship on Obama, I know you got to go to break, but I got to make this perfectly plain for the brothers and sisters, all one of them, who tuned into your show tonight. The first person who jumped ship on Obama was not any member of his administration. It was his wife. When they took them separate plane trips, going different places, oh, man, you know what I'm saying? And when he celebrated his birthday in Chicago without her, with LeBron James, you know what I'm saying? They were already off the ship.
And now, hang on a second. I don't know what you were saying. Were you saying that LeBron James and Obama are on the down low? I'm asking the question.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying. The brother was kind of weak in the other game. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you should, not go Wilt Chamberlain on the brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Well, you have 3 minutes to think about it because that's how long our break is, and we'll be back with Sackheads Radio.
2,000 strong.
Hey folks, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank the men and women of our armed forces, as well as our first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for making this country and our communities a better and safer place. God bless.
Hello, I'm Ashley, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Dr. Larry Arnn on why the Constitution limits government.
James Madison writes in Federalist 51 that men are not angels. Their passions and self-interest often get the better of their reason and sense of justice. So we need government in order to protect our rights against those who would take them away. But for the same reason, Madison writes, government must be limited because people in government have passions and interests too. Many Americans today forget this, supposing that we can do away with constitutional limits on government, supposing that the unelected bureaucrats being put in charge of our health care, for example, will rule as if they are angels. If Madison was correct about human nature, this is foolish and dangerous.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.org.
Hi, this is Sarah Marie Brenner. You know, we often talk on the Brenner Brief about the fact that there really needs to be an organization to help people at the local level who are interested in running for things like school board, city council, and other local offices. Well, I think I finally have the solution for you, at least for you women out there. It's called Politigal Network, Politigal Network.com. Their website's going to be launching mid-August, but they're already on Twitter at PolitigalUSA. I encourage you to follow them and become a member. Their goal is to be the #1 resource for conservative women. So if you love freedom, liberty, the United States of America, and politics, check out PolitigalNetwork.com or Twitter at PolitigalUSA.
How you doing? John Grant here. When I'm not slaving over a hot microphone on the 405radio.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, I check out Sean and Clint here at Sackheads Radio. We all appreciate the best political bloggers, writers, and commentators. We either get them on our shows or we make fun of them, as it should be. So check us out live Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern or forever on the podcasts on the 405radio.com.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I want to talk to you a minute about our friends over at HomefrontHugs.com. They're an amazing organization of volunteers who take their time, effort, and money to take care of our troops overseas as they serve our great nation. HomefrontHugs.com. You can donate, write letters to troops, adopt a troop, you name it, you can do it. Help those wonderful folks who protect our freedoms. Go to HomefrontHugs.com. Tell them Sackheads Radio sent you.
Now back to Clint and Sean on Sackheads Radio, radiating elegancy and quality.
And we are back from a well-deserved break because, man, we work way too hard at this sometimes. 347.
Have we even talked politics tonight?
Well, you know, here's what happens. We get sidetracked because we have good friends that call and join us for their segments each week on the show. And now we have Ken, who is another great friend of our show that calls in each week for the segments, but sidetracks us. And it's amazing to me how sidetracked we can get. It's funny, you and I would talk. See, I just did it again. I was going to talk about Ken sidetracking us, and that sidetracked us from what we were talking about.
Yes, sir.
Clint, can I say something to you, sir?
Absolutely.
I appreciate your affinity to my racial integrity. I really do.
Thank you.
I like the way you bring out the fact, and you understand, your comprehension, that I, as a black man, can better understand myself by accepting the fact that you're white. And I like that.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. You know, I can't say the same thing for Sean.
That's because Sean is a racist pig. Yeah, Sean is a racist pig.
No. He's not just a racist. He's a bigot, too. See, it's important that you bring the two together as one. They can't be separated. They must be married.
I'm apologizing to you on behalf of him. And what a pig he really is. He literally turned beet red, and he's completely speechless sitting over there, staring at me wide-eyed and mouth agape like a 9-year-old who just saw his first Playboy. That's seriously the look on his face right now. It's so great.
See, you have to understand. That's why I'm not for gay marriage, because you could not bring together both the bigot and the racist as one. See, that's why we in the brotherhood understand these things. Assalamu alaikum.
I'm sorry, did you say somebody's mama go lick him? Because that is kind of what I heard. I've been having these hearing issues all night.
And we love having you on this show. So
I can't do this on the Exceptional Conservative show. I really can't. Because, the stereotypes and everything, man. It's just, gee, I thought he was, not one of those.
Not one of those. He scares me. He might rob me if I listen.
But he's one of the quiet ones, and that's okay. And he's well thought out and well spoken, so it's fine. Before we went to the break, because as funny as Ken is,
can I say this real quick? I want to say this real quick. I was affronted on your chat room. Being the only black person in your chat room, someone had the audacity. I learned that from Obama.
Of hope.
And we will never let this happen again, I hope.
Never.
I was audacitized on your chat room.
By who?
And on your chat room, someone had the audacity to tell me that I was not colored. Well, I want you to know my family has a rainbow of colorations on their birth certificates. My oldest sister was a Negro. I was colored. My brother was black, and my baby sister was African American. So I just want to say thank y'all, because all of us are confused at every family reunion thanks to the social.
Now, is that a true story?
No, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. On all our birth, my eldest sister is a Negro. I'm colored. My brother is black, and my baby sister is African American. So,
what were you born tie-dyed? What do you mean colored? Were you like a tie-dye swirl that came out?
No, see, this is how I know that Barack Obama's birth certificate is wrong. Because all black people in 1961 were Negroes. They were not African Americans. So something's wrong with that birth certificate, brother. Because African Americans didn't come around to the mid-1970s. So you know what I'm saying? Something's wrong with that birth certificate. But we'll bring it up at the next, since we all look alike, we'll bring it up at the next family gathering.
I completely lost track of what we were talking about.
Thank God for Jesse Jackson. Morelli,
yes,
is a genius. I really think so, because he was a straight shooter when he went before Congress. He made the assertions that the system worked. No worries, no fears, and quite frankly, he is clearing his name for future reference. One of the problems that I do have with this whole scenario is not really those who are in the Obama administration. We know the reason why they did what they did, and take it to the furthest level that you possibly could. You can't tell me that this time Attorney General Eric Holder did not know, although he will probably go to the Congress and say, I didn't know, I didn't sign it, I didn't know. My problem is the number of Americans around the country who are sitting at home and saying, well, you got to give up security in order to have liberty, or you have to give up liberty in order to have security.
Yep.
No, you don't.
It's not. It's a no-brainer, really. That's the problem, and people think it involves thought.
But what happens when there's crisis? What do people do? Oh, government, save me. Oh, police, save me. Fire, save me.
Right.
Right?
And there are times that you have to rely on those resources, but you should be prepared ahead of time.
You have a problem. Listen, I was in favor of the Patriot Act when it discriminated against foreign people. That was fine with me. But when you started working at home, okay, and started accusing people of terrorism at home, we have a problem. I just find it very difficult to believe that Grandma at 102 out of Santa Monica is the threat to terrorism than Abdullah Khalid is over there in Pakistan. I just,
You know what? If you were white, I'd say that's a racist thing to say. But I'm pretty sure if I called you a racist for saying that, I would in turn be a racist.
I think that was funny.
No, that was great. Are you kidding me?
Sean, I want to make it evidently clear, my brother,
Yes, sir.
that
Wait, I didn't
you have been reasonably on my side through most of these phone calls and never have bent over backwards like my brother Sean. You know? So please, don't be grabbing your knees right about here. You know what I'm saying, my brother?
We
don't want to marry the bigot and the racist right here with you. You understand what I'm saying, brother?
I don't. I haven't caught a word of the last 20 minutes. I keep trying to figure it out, and I can't. I don't know what's going on.
Which is weird, because you speak Bostonian.
I know. Normally, I'm really good at this stuff, but right now, you got me.
So Ken, you said something interesting in that, and we had this conversation with Rooster. You said you were for the Patriot Act when Bush was putting it through because you felt it dealt with foreign entities, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
That's kind of the conversation that was had with Rooster, is that's the danger of that type of legislation, is that it can be stretched out. I mean, the next administration comes in, and now it's doing something other than it was originally intended for. I mean, that the intention may have been good, but giving up that liberty that now somebody else can take advantage of in a different way is a major, major issue, which is why I was against it.
I agree with you, Sean, in that regard, but let me just say this to speak. Yeah, you're Sean.
No,
when
I'm
have
Clint.
you never been? Where have you ever been wrong?
No, I'm Clint.
I'm sorry, Clint.
Yeah.
Clint, have you ever been wrong, Clint? Never.
No.
You know, the clock is right all the time with you, unlike myself, where it's only right maybe once a day. So, I haven't figured out exactly how it only works once a day, but it's true. So, Clint, you are absolutely, positively right. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and we gave too much power to Congress and to the President of the United States, and we need to bring that back a whole notch.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say a couple.
Yeah, I think it needs to be dialed way down. I think we're learning, especially as this administration, and we talked about it earlier, it's one of the most scandalous administrations, albeit designed by them or not designed by them, and what controversy that's ever been. And the fact is, this could happen at any administration if it's allowed to get out of control. And, you know, I've said it before, we just happen to be dealing with the quote-unquote Obama administration with these scandals, but you insert any name, and it's just, if it's a corrupt person who has that power, who either lets it get to them or thinks that they can do things the wrong way or their way versus the reality, that's what the scary part is. So,
somebody who is so not in control or so ignorant to how these things work or how our government's supposed to work that corrupt people are put into very high places and are allowed to corrupt the administration. Look, it may not. I know this isn't popular in conservative circles. It actually may not be Obama that's directing all this.
He could be the puppet.
Well, I can agree with you on that one. This is the one time when you really wanted Obama to come to the podium at the White House and the Rose Garden and say, "What's a brother to do? I'm here to keep you safe. Why are you itching and complaining? It's me who made those stops. But I missed one time. But that's not my fault. That was Hillary." So,
well, we've said that numerous times. We'd have a lot more respect for the administration and the president if he would just come out and be strong on something, even if I don't necessarily agree. If he came out and said, "Hey, you know what? This is my policy. This is why I'm doing this, and I believe it's the right thing to do, and I'm not, you know." But
or the progressive thing to do, because he would never do anything
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But what happens is he puts out policies and he goes with these policies, and then they backfire, and he starts doing the sidestep and dancing and trying to get around it like it wasn't his.
I love the sidestep.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Look, I think
that brought the DuPont Circle person out in me. Oh, the sidestep.
But then you see it all the way through his administration, and one of the things that came out a couple days ago was Ed Henry asking Carney a question, Jay Carney, and Jay Carney is the best mouthpiece of the administration. I don't like the man, but he is perfect for this administration because he never answers a question directly, and he never assigns blame unless he thinks he can get away with assigning it on somebody not in the administration. I'm going to play the back and forth between Carney and Henry, and we're going to discuss it. Huh? Yeah, and here's Carney's first response earlier in the...
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have that, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa and should help Iraq and the Asian countries. So we will be.
So that was Jay. That was Jay answering a previous question, and then we actually get into him and Ed Henry's back and forth.
You mentioned the president's comments on Friday. To follow on what Jessica was asking about oversight, on Friday, you referred to that. The president said, quote, every member of Congress has been briefed on this program. Why then, or not just Republicans, but Democrats like Keith Ellison saying, I've heard nothing about this. He said he checked his email, he had his staff go back through records. He hasn't been briefed on it.
I can't speak to individual members. What I can tell you is that
member of Congress has been briefed on it.
The chair and ranking member of the Intelligence Committee have made clear that every member was advised of this and had the opportunity for briefings. As was widely reported over the weekend, the Department of Justice and intelligence officials have taken multiple actions to inform members of these authorities, including providing in-person briefings and classified white papers. The classified white papers were provided by the Intelligence Committees in December of 2009 and 2011, along with a formal request that the white papers be made available for review by all members. The Intelligence and Judiciary Committees have been briefed on these operations multiple times and have been provided access to copies of the classified FISA court orders and opinions relevant to the use of Section 215. I would point you to statements by other members of Congress about the fact that this congressional oversight exists. Again, I can't speak to every individual member. What I can say is that it is simply true that there is substantial congressional oversight. But that's simply a matter of course and as it should be. It does not mean that these matters shouldn't be debated or that voices shouldn't be heard if there is disagreement about where we have found that balance and whether we ought to consider making adjustments. But that debate should also include an understanding and appreciation for the need for programs like this in the world that we live in and given the threats that we face.
Two other quick ones on this, but we're told that all House members are getting a briefing on Tuesday about these surveillance programs. It sounds a little bit like retroactively after the President Friday says every member of Congress has been briefed. Now, if they have been briefed, why are they getting another briefing on Tuesday?
I'm not aware of any. I'm not aware of it. I would refer you to the agencies that are briefing.
There's a briefing.
I'm not personally giving it, but I would refer you to the agencies that might be involved. But I can just point you to what numerous members of Congress have said, to the very facts about congressional oversight here, and tell you that it's an important part of this process, that both the courts and Congress provide oversight of these programs, as does the executive branch through inspectors general and through other means to make sure that there are checks and balances in place. That doesn't make them perfect. It means that the programs do have the oversight that was sought in the past as a means of ensuring that they were conducted properly and conducted properly and legally and consistent with our values.
And such.
And such as and those are the. I'm starting to think that Carney, before he comes out for his press conferences now,
gets drunk,
is almost like a guy who's going to test pilot an experimental plane and has zero pilot experience. And he's just nervous and just like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to do it anyhow. He absolutely, his whole tactic now is to talk for as long as possible, say absolutely nothing.
Pop as many Tums and Rolaids as he can.
I think that's all he does is he talks
So he's just
slower
practicing
now.
liberalism.
Yeah.
He's just practicing liberalism. Say
Exactly
as much as you can without saying anything.
He's talking slower. If you watch his more recent speech pressers, he's talking much slower. He's not answering anything directly. He has these long, drawn-out because he wants less questions. He knows he has about an hour and 15 minutes, and if he cuts it short of that, people are going to complain. So he's got to leave it in that 60 to 90-minute range, and he's got to try to limit questions because he only goes out with his marching orders on so many things. So he does it. He just talks and expands and stretches.
You know what? Let's not use marching orders with this administration because it sounds too militaristic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's use frolic orders.
He's got his frolic request.
Right? Yeah, so he's got his frolic requests or his skipping requests. Because
his skipping suggestion?
Yeah, because ordering somebody really isn't very nice. So I think frolic order or skipping suggestion would be appropriate terms for this administration.
Stipulated.
I think two things. Can I say two things here? One is, firstly, Jay Carney needs a little vacation. So since this is LGBTQRSTUVWXYZ month, we should get one of those people to come out and do the press conferences. At least when they say nothing, they're flamboyant and it's entertaining. Secondly, the chick, man, you need to go back to that's the perfect date. You drink a couple of wine shots, man, and you're like, I'm not listening to her at all. Let's just get back to her crib.
But I think
I'm sorry.
I have a disclaimer. The fact that Ken said crib was not in any reference to the fact that she's underage. Ken is, in fact, African American. And so his reference to crib was an acceptable term in his culture. That means place or room, domicile, as it is. Sorry, go ahead, Ken. I had to throw that out.
I used to be a Boy Scout, so, hey.
But, you know, it's one of those things for me that I think he is the absolute perfect face for the administration, and I think people look beyond that. I
think his face, he just looks like, he has that look of somebody you just want to freaking punch. And I'm a nonviolent person. You know the face, some people just have that look like you're just like, he just looks like a stinking jerk.
What scale?
Not shown that way.
Right.
Number between 1 and 10, how many atomic wedgies did he get per week in school?
Oh, 9.3.
38. 38.
No, he, you know.
Remember, can you remember the movie Wall Street? The movie Wall Street, and there was a guy who was playing the lawyer who was doing the bidding for Charlie Sheen, and then he tells him, that's who Carney looks like. You know, the little pussy who just won't go all the way with. If you're gonna go to jail, man, go big. Do the Charlie Sheen route.
Yeah, he's just got that swarmy. I just want to give him a swirly every time I see him. I just want to grab his head, put it in the toilet, and flush repeatedly. And then he opens his mouth and
stop doing that, man. That really hurts. Stop.
Guys, come on. This isn't. I'm going to tell the teacher. But don't you feel that it's sad when the press secretary for the president has to give an answer like that? And there's a reason we played that girl from the Miss America pageant, because if you listen to those one right after another, it's not that different. He did about 15 seconds of saying literally nothing. And then he threw in like a keyword, said nothing more for about 13 seconds, and on and on and on. He is the gentleman, and I use that term only because it was I feel that sometimes I have to, not because I really think he is. But He's the guy
He's
who's
kind of a
supposed-
condescending little prick.
He's supposed to answer for the President of the United States when the President can't go. I completely agree with you. When he can't go out there or doesn't want to go out there because this President hates to meet with media unless it's ridiculously friendly media, he has to go out there and field for the President. The President has no sack when it comes to coming out and telling things how it is. And Carney's the exact same way. And then when they actually get like that one thing that they want to nut up about, you hear about it for 3-4 weeks at a time. Now, he brings it up every chance he can. Well, there's been several members of Congress and several members of Congress. I'm just telling you what the several members of Congress. Yeah, we get it. The 3 guys that you talked to said they heard that. That's about it.
You know who
to be honest with you, I really think that the first person who will leave this summer will be Jay Carney. I think he will leave.
Go out on stress leave.
Never notice how he looks like we love having a reference of Ghostbusters. You ever notice how he looks like Gozer?
Gozer the Gozerian?
Gozer the Destroyer, also known as. From the first Ghostbusters, and I think that was actually played with by a chick with a mohawk or something.
Yeah.
Ever notice how like Gozer? Am I wrong?
No, he does. Just throw glasses
No.
on Ghost. I think you're right, Jay. I think
Jay?
Ken, I think by the end of the summer, I think you're going to see Jay Carney out the door, and I hope they get somebody. Like, they might as well just go grab, like, a janitor and be like, you know what, you're going to be the press secretary, and they're not going to be able to beat you up because they're going to be like, oh, he's a normal dude who's just getting put up to do this. Like, I think everyone thinks that Carney's a D-bag, and he's a non-stop liar.
He is a D-bag. I think they need to get, like, a former major league manager to be just like a hardcore old school cigar smoking,
big hunk of char,
big hunk of chew manager to be like, next question, what do you got?
Yeah.
Factor in that.
Or you can have Susan Rice, virtually the same thing.
We have a minute left, and we got to wrap up the show. Thank you, sir.
God bless you. Take care.
God bless you. Went fast. At the beginning of the show, I said, how are we ever going to get through 2 hours? I didn't. And here we are, and we weren't even done yet.
We didn't talk about anything.
I know. I love it. Check us out next week on Wednesday night when we're not going to talk about more things.
Right, like FEMA denying aid to Texas.
We wouldn't talk about that.
We wouldn't talk about something that important.
You check us out at sackheadsradio.com. That is also where you can submit your Dare Joe Biden. We're on Facebook /SackheadsRadio. We're on Twitter We will see you next Wednesday night at the exact same time. Another special night. Man, I love how special we are.
And coming soon, Sackhead Gear.
No, we didn't fill Sacco in, but it is coming soon. We'll see you next week.